Every empire needs an origin story, and Persia's is almost embarrassingly small. A vassal king in a backwater province, quietly making friends while his grandfather looked the other way. Cyrus didn't so much win his first war as inherit it, when the enemy's own soldiers switched sides mid-battle. After that, momentum did most of the work. Lydia's fabulously wealthy king asked the gods for advice on attacking Persia, got exactly the answer he wanted to hear, and marched confidently toward the wrong ending. Cyrus took his capital within weeks, and Croesus learned exactly which empire the oracle meant. Within a generation, a minor prince from nowhere commanded a territory stretching from the Aegean to the edge of Central Asia. By the time Cyrus was done, the empire wasn't held together by fear alone. Local elites kept their positions. Local gods kept their temples. Conquest, it turned out, could also look remarkably like patience. Babylon's own king had managed something rare, making his capital's priesthood root for the enemy. So, when Cyrus's engineers quietly rerouted a river, the city that had never fallen to a siege in living memory simply opened its gates from the inside. Cyrus didn't just take Babylon. He had the story of the taking carved in clay, a conqueror rebranded as a liberator, a narrative so effective that 2,500 years later, people still believed it. Cyrus's son inherited an empire built for expansion and pointed it at Egypt, a kingdom that hadn't seen a foreign king in centuries. It fell faster than anyone expected, but success has a way of exposing what's rotten at home, and in Cambyses's case, that meant a secret he'd been sitting on since before he'd even left Persia. A brother, quietly disposed of, a magus, willing to gamble everything on looking like a dead man to fool a royal court, and a king who never made it back to find out how the lie unraveled. Darius inherited not merely a throne, but rather a rebellion upon which a crown depended. 19 revolts in 1 year will do that to a new king's schedule. And when the fighting finally stopped, he did something no one expected from a usurper, this insecure. He built a cliff face carved in 3 languages so no rival could argue his legitimacy. Satrapies with fixed taxes instead of whatever a conquered province felt like paying that year. Roads that could move a message faster than gossip could spread it. One currency where there used to be a dozen competing ones. History remembers the conquerors. It should probably spend more time on the accountants. Clerks recording tribute in a dozen languages. A courier system that outlived him by centuries. Darius's real monument wasn't a battlefield. It was a paperwork system that worked. For nearly 2 centuries, Persian rule over the Ionian Greek cities meant heavy tribute and puppet rulers with no real loyalty to anyone. Rebellion was probably inevitable. Athens sending ships to help was just the spark that turned a local grievance into Darius's personal problem. His revenge took 2 very different forms. First, patience. 5 years of methodically crushing city after city until every rebel outpost was gone. Second, something closer to obsession. A servant under strict orders to interrupt every single meal with the same 3 words, in case the king somehow forgot who'd insulted him. The first invasion fleet barely got the chance to test that memory. A storm off Mount Athos did more damage than any Greek army could have managed, and the whole campaign had to start over from nothing. 2 years later, the Second Fleet finally made it, close enough that Athenians could watch the ships arrive from their own rooftops. On paper, the Athenians shouldn't have had a chance. A thinned center and stacked wings turned a losing formation into a winning one. The first great Persian defeat, and the story Greece would tell itself for centuries. Atossa enters the story here, daughter of Cyrus, and about to outlast 2 more kings after him. Marrying into her own family's power struggle sounds messy, until you realize it's also a strategy. She didn't just survive the politics, she quietly decided who came next. No other woman in this empire's history held influence across 3 generations of kings the way she did. Daughter of Cyrus, who built it, wife of Darius, who organized it, mother of Xerxes, who nearly lost it. Xerxes inherited his father's unfinished grudge and decided to finish it properly. With an army so large that ancient writers simply gave up trying to count it accurately. When a storm destroyed his first bridge across the Hellespont, the response wasn't engineering. It was punishing the water itself. 300 lashes and a set of iron shackles thrown in for good measure. Leonidas led 300 Spartans to Thermopylae, though they never fought alone. A few thousand allied Greeks held the line beside them against numbers no ancient writer could agree on. As a Spartan king, retreat wasn't really an option he'd have considered. He just had to hold long enough to become legend. His name was Ephialtes, a local Greek who knew the mountains better than the Spartans did, and sold that knowledge for a reward history never bothered to record. One guide was all it took to turn an unbreakable wall into an open door. Athens emptied out before the flames ever reached it. Themistocles needed the Persian fleet somewhere it couldn't maneuver, so he simply told them where the Greeks were planning to run. It wasn't true, but Xerxes believed it, and a war fleet built for open water sailed right into a strait built to trap it. A bigger fleet is only an advantage with room to maneuver, and the strait gave them none. Ship by ship, the fleet came apart, while the king who ordered the attack watched the whole collapse from a golden seat on the hillside. Chased by a Greek ship, she rammed an allied Persian vessel instead. From the hillside, Xerxes couldn't tell the difference, and with no survivors left to correct him, he mistook the wreckage for a kill. Herodotus, writing decades later from her hometown, seemed to enjoy that irony as much as we do. Xerxes went home. The war didn't end so much as change owners. A general left behind to lose at Plataea, a fleet left behind to lose at Mycale, and a king who quietly traded conquest for construction, pouring the rest of his reign into gates and columns instead of armies. The man who once had the sea itself whipped for defying him was murdered in his own bedroom by Artabanus, the one man whose actual job was to stop exactly that from happening. He barely got to sit on the throne himself before the guards dragged him off it. What follows is less a royal succession and more a rapid game of musical chairs, and the music kept stopping at the worst possible moment. A 45-day reign ended in someone's sleep. A usurper who lasted barely 6 months before his own half-brother repeated the trick. A queen who ran the actual government while her husband held the actual title. And when a prince finally rebelled against his own brother with an army of Greek mercenaries, his mother's response to losing him wasn't grief so much as a 10-day revenge plan for the man who'd killed him. By the time one king finally decided the safest move was simply removing every relative who might have a claim, it's hard to argue he was wrong to worry. While Persian princes were busy strangling each other, a smaller kingdom to the northwest was quietly building something more dangerous than any of them: a professional army with nothing better to do than fight. Philip II unified Macedonia through a mix of marriage, bribery, and battle, then got murdered at his own daughter's wedding before he could use any of it himself. His son Alexander inherited the army and the ambition. The same year, on the Persian side, a court eunuch who'd already poisoned 2 kings to get his preferred candidate on the throne succeeded a 3rd time, handing Persia's crown to possibly its least prepared ruler yet. Alexander crossed into Asia and won his first fight almost immediately, scattering the local satraps at the Granicus River before Darius had even fully settled into power. The real test came at Issus, and Darius lost it badly enough to abandon his own royal tent, along with his wife and mother, in the retreat. What followed says something about both men. Darius offered a fortune, his daughter's hand, and half his empire just to make the problem go away. Alexander said no. Not a counteroffer, no. Full surrender or nothing. So Darius did the only thing left: emptied every remaining province of soldiers and started building the largest army he could still raise, for one battle that would decide everything. Darius picked the ground himself this time, leveled it for his chariots, and stacked every advantage numbers could buy. None of it accounted for a phalanx that simply opened lanes and let the chariots run straight through, uselessly, into empty space. Darius had pulled soldiers from every province he still controlled, the largest army the empire could still raise. Alexander didn't need to win it all. He needed one gap in the center, one clear line to the king himself. And 208 years of empire ended in the time it took to find it. Darius ran before the battle was even fully lost. And it didn't save him. His own governor arrested him during the retreat, then decided a captive king was more liability than asset. Alexander found him already dying, and did something almost nobody expected from a conqueror: gave his defeated rival a funeral fit for the throne he'd just taken. 2 centuries of kings, and the last one didn't die in battle, didn't die a prisoner of the enemy he'd spent 3 years running from. He died betrayed by his own man, on the side of a dirt road. Alexander burned the palace that took 2 centuries to build. But the roads, the satrapies, the entire machinery Darius I designed, he kept every piece of it running. He was 25 years old, now ruler of the largest empire on earth, and he was nowhere near finished.